G'day guys and welcome to On The Grid with Robbo. This week a really good one. A couple of weeks ago I got in touch with the guys at Demvox, who are a Spanish company, and they make sound isolation booths for everything from office suites all the way up to really big size booths for musicians and all the rest of it. And I thought it would be interesting to have a chat with them about custom booths. They do it well. They send them all around the world. So Monica from Demvox was really helpful, and she got me in touch with Danko, who is one of their technician guys, and we spent some time together and had a really good chat about not just about the products, but about soundproofing in general, how difficult it can be for home studio owners to soundproof a booth or a room, and some of their solutions. So, look. There's no sponsorship involved here. I wasn't paid to do this, but I just kind of figured it's something that, we all aspire to is having a soundproof room. On my 5th home studio, I still don't have a soundproof studio. Not that I need one. I'm not recording in here, but it would be nice at times with kids screaming and all the rest of it. So I just thought it might be interesting to get some background on booths and maybe get some information on, if you were interested in it, what we should be looking for. So anyway, let's jump into it. Here's Danko. So Danko, thanks for joining us on The Grid, mate. It's really good to see you from Spain.
Well, it's nice to see you too. Finally.
So, yes, exactly. It's been a bit of a roundabout, hasn't it? Where we finally got there. Can you, just to get us started, can you tell us a bit about Demvox and where it came from and how it started and all the rest of it?
Sure. So basically, Demvox started somewhere in 2001. Like Dario was actually the one founding the company. He's a drummer, and as usual with drummers, you have problem with sound. So he had first he was singing in his apartment. Then his parents basically said, "Okay, you cannot do this here," and he moved into a garage. But that was not enough, and he started to build his own soundproof booth. First with normal dry walls and some absorbents. That was not enough. Then he started learning about how to properly isolate something. And he built basically from wood, manual working. Yeah. He built his first booth.
Wow.
Then everything was fine. So he was able to isolate the drums. Yeah. Then they had to move. And when they had to move, they say, okay, you have to uninstall it and move it. But it was a big booth. And he decided to just sell it on a local newspaper. Like, I want to sell this booth really quickly. And he was surprised, like, how fast he managed to actually sell that thing. And that was like a spark, like bring this, okay, that's a real demand of isolating booth. And he started the project then.
Yeah, right.
With basically 1 or 2 employees and from scratch.
Born of necessity. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you've touched on a really interesting point there. I mean, for people who are recording at home or in not such good environments, soundproofing is, the ultimate goal, but it's really not easily achievable, is it? Is it at all?
The principle, it's really easy, but the actually working and building it, that's the complicated part.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the principle, it's really easy. Every sound, it's a sound wave, so it has energy. You'll have to take that energy and dump it in somewhere else. Yeah. And to make a really good sound isolation enclosure, you need a mass, a really heavy mass, flexible material, then another mass. So you have something work like a spring.
Yep.
That's the ideal booth will be a room inside a room, and the both rooms should not touch each other. So that's impossible to make. Yep. So we use absorbent material for that.
Well, that was going to be the next question. So how do you guys deal with that? What's the I mean, without giving away tricks of the trade, how's the Demvox booth help us around those issues?
So no problem, though. It's patented, so the Echo booths, the DV booth are patented, so I can't actually tell you how it's built. It's simple. So we have we use MDF wood because it's kind of medium to high density.
Yeah.
So it works well with the weight. And inside we have like polyurethane, I think it's called, foam or flexible membrane. It's a thick membrane, sponge, but high density sponge.
Yep.
So we stick that in between two sheets of MDF wood. The key is to have different size of material. So we start from inside with a 1 centimeter MDF, then a 3 centimeter absorbent, then 1.6 centimeters another MDF wood. The key for that is if sound passes through one, if you have another layer with the same material, it will also pass through the second one.
Sure.
So you have to change the thickness of the material.
Yeah.
So the Echo, the most basic one we have, and it's very good all around, has this construction, a sandwich between flexible material. To give it a better look, we use the gray felt. You can kind of see behind me.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
That's it. So that gives a really acoustic finish, and it's a neutral gray, so it blends really well in every situation.
Yep. So is that MDF and the foam and the MDF again, is that all around? Is that on the floor as well? Because I mean, the floor is really one of those places that's so hard to decouple, right? So how does it also sit on? I imagine it's
exactly
on some rubber legs or something like that.
Yeah, it's the whole booth sits on rubber legs just to kind of decouple it from the floor.
Yeah.
So the whole booth doesn't really touch the walls of the room, or on the floor is on some pads. So it's a rubber pad, a small rubber pad with an extra pad on top. Then the booth it's going to sit on, and on the floor is the same sandwich, but the polyurethane, it's higher density to support the weight of the booth.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, you've put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. And it's actually the walls and everything, the inside structure of the booth, it's not rigidly connected to the outer structure of the booth.
Yeah.
So it's in any place, any corner, floor, ceiling, everything, it will pass through some flexible material.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you did touch on this. There's the 3 models, the KZ, the Eco, and the DV. Is that right?
Yeah.
How do they differ? Is it just size, or is there other differences?
No, it is totally different structure material. Yeah, so let's resolve the size issue. We can build it from the smallest to the biggest booth we can possibly build. So,
well, most of our listeners are going to be voiceover artists and podcasters. So let's start with something that sort of might suit them. What sort of model would you be recommending, and what would they be getting for their money, I guess, is the question.
So definitely the all-around best buy economic solution it will be the Echo. That is more than 10 years, proved its efficiency. We have only 5 stars review of clients that are actually really impressed of the Echo quality. That's even including for musicians. So including it can actually absorb a lot of sound. So the Echo for voiceover, that's absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
And it's kind of easy to manufacture also. So we have everything sorted out.
Sure.
The actual difference in between them. So we started with DV actually, as founded with the DV, but it was too heavy, too difficult to build. We passed then to the Echo, which is good balance with that.
Yeah.
Then we recently we built the KZ models. We call them KZ because in Spanish it's caseta, which is caseta.
Small? So it's like small?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right.
It's small, but we can build it. It's the same. Being modular, it can be bigger. So I will show them because right now I'm in the showroom and I have all 3 models installed here. So you're going to be able to actually see it.
Cool. Let's take a walk. Let's go have a look.
Okay. I will try to change the camera.
There we go. We're going to go mobile. All right. Look at this.
So this is inside the DV. So it's a 4 square meter DV booth.
That's a great size, isn't it?
Yeah. It has right now it has the PETs, the plastic stuff, new acoustic finish, recyclable material and everything. Okay, so let's walk outside.
Does it come with the Demvox sign? On the door? Come with one of those?
It usually comes with a Demvox logo.
Everybody should have one of those.
It's smaller. So
Yeah. It looks good from the outside too.
This is the new DV. So we have it now in white finish also.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not really standard. The standard one, it's in gray felt. But because everyone asked, okay, but can we make it white? Okay, no problem. We have a melamine finish. It's very thick material and built to last.
Yeah.
This is the KC, the cassette.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay.
So this is the office type booth that it's really basic isolation. So this actually doesn't respect the principle of the springness. It's just a really thick wall. Yeah. So it's a really thick melamine wall with sound absorbance inside. So this is now, let's see if I can get inside. So I have better acoustics. I'm not sure how we can.
So we're sort of thinking this probably isn't for like a voiceover artist or something like that, purely because of it's not designed for that. Pretty much, is that what we're saying?
It depends, because if you don't need to isolate a lot of sound.
Yeah.
So let's say you are in an already quiet environment, a quiet house, and you only need something to work inside with acoustics. So you can place acoustics inside and modify it. So this can work.
Yep. But if you're living on a busy road or something,
it's almost the same price of the Echo.
Yeah. So if you're under the flight path or something like that of the local airport, you probably don't want that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is basically a smaller version of the KC. Is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Easy to build, easy to install, but it's kind of a weight problem. I will tell you later why did we build these models.
Yeah.
And this is the famous Echo. This is the Echo 100, the smallest one we can have.
That's nice. Yeah.
Custom door. So I will try to change it to vertical. Let's see if it works.
There we go. Flips perfectly. Okay. So we've got mic stands and all, and script holders and all that.
Yeah, this is optional, so it's not doesn't come with standard with
no. But you can do that stuff because that's pretty important.
We can do that. The easiest one we can do is this shelf, which is folding. You can.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a folding shelf. This is something that we do, and usually we include it in. If it's needed, we can include it.
Yeah, nice.
The new version, it's like, I don't know, we modified it like 2 years ago. Even denser acoustic panels inside. So, and you also have bass traps installed. So this is the inside of an Echo. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can tell, but now the acoustics totally changed.
You can hear it. You can hear a big difference. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So ventilation system, fully ventilated inside.
Yeah. So that's a good point. That's a good point. Is it just a duct, or is there sort of something that pumps air in?
Nah, it's. I'll show you right now. Mm-hmm. So the outside connects. So this is the upper ventilation. This is the lower ventilation module. Connect with a flexible duct to this big motor here.
Okay. So is that pumping air in, or that's dragging air out?
It depends. Right now, it's pumping air in because it's reversible. So if it's installed on the floor like this one, it should pump air inside because you have cold air, fresh air going down because of air density. Mm-hmm. So we want to make it from the lower side of the booth.
Yeah,
and then automatically it will eject the air on the upper part. But we have clients that they want to install the vent, they don't have space, and they want to put the motor on top of the booth. You can do that without any problems, but then we have to switch the direction of the air to just suck air from the booth, because now you have the lower ventilation system that will act like a lower side.
Wow, you've thought of everything, mate.
It's the same here. I think this has a built-in ventilation system. So the cassetta, it's a smaller motor inside already the ventilation box.
Yeah,
so
sure.
This is for the it's already built in. So it's fixed onto the booth.
Yeah.
Then we have the DV, which is the ventilation modules are on top on this
Already
one.
on top.
This is because we have space. But let me see if I can find the engine. Yeah, the engine is still on the lower side.
Okay.
It's the same engine. It's a powerful one.
Yeah. And what about cabling and all that sort of stuff? Is that easy to run?
Sure. So the cables in the Echo, which is, I'm guessing, the more interesting one, it's a hole on the outside, just simple pass-through hole. You can pass there as much as, I think it's 10 cables easily. And on the inside, there you go. In the inside, it's like a cover. So to access the cable, you just unscrew this one.
Yeah.
Take a moment, long screw.
Yeah.
Standard. And just open it, and you have the cable access.
Okay, right. Yeah. Because I was going to say that with the hole, it must be a problem for sound, but it's not because you've covered it over. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, let's say you will have leakage eventually, but it's really, really high frequencies that are not going to leave the room in where the booth is installed.
Yeah.
So the same goes for the ventilation. So the air goes through here, but it's have to pass a sort of labyrinth before it exits on the other side.
Okay.
So it's not a direct hole outside.
Okay. Yeah. So there's plenty of time for it to diminish. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
Mate, they're really impressive.
The ventilation is on. So it's probably you cannot pick it.
So you mentioned modularity and customization. Is that easy to do? Like how easy, like if I had a funny sized room or, something weird like that, is that easily dealt with by you guys, or do I sort of need to follow a certain sort of dimension, I guess?
The easiest way is to directly contact us and send us a plan of with the room.
Yep.
Or photos or something like that. So we usually always have an interview with the clients to ask them about what are you going to do and where do you want the booth to be installed and stuff like that.
Yep.
We get the dimension of the room and we suggest a booth.
Yep.
Because we have modularity here, but we have to kind of compile what modules go where to make various sizes.
Yep. Okay.
The best resolution, it's in the DV because it's really small, so it's like 22 centimeters in separation. But that is done with like 4 different module sizes. So we have a big one, a little smaller one. Both are used to place doors, windows, ventilation, cable access, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we have another 2 smaller ones to be able to adapt to any size.
Sure.
The Echo only has like 2 modules. So it's a big one and a medium one directly. Yeah. So it's less resolution, but still fits any apartment.
Most places, yeah.
So you send that if you have a really funny room.
Yeah,
you can. The booths are squared like a rectangle shape. So we can build strange booths like with a DV. We can actually build corners inside corners.
Okay.
To avoid the column or make big structure, but we can do that with bigger booths. We can do that.
Okay. So if I order one from you guys, it gets shipped to me, which is obviously going to be in a pretty big box. It's not something that the local postie is going to drop at the front door. I put it together myself, I presume. Is that a difficult thing to do?
For the Echo, no. It's very, very, very simple. So you'll get an installation manual. You just have to place the pad on the floor, measure the distance between them, place the floor, and start building the walls. So it's like 4 screws in each wall because the walls are already standing by themselves.
Yeah.
And you just need a electrical drilling machine. We are going to send the bit adapter for it, and that's it. So it's buildable. You still need like a friend to build it. You cannot build it by with one person. It's kind of heavy. Each wall, each module, it's around 30 to 40 kilos, with the window being 50 to 60 kilos.
Yeah, right.
So it can get really heavy really quick.
Yeah. So is it like IKEA? Do I get a little Allen key and a little screwdriver like IKEA and all that sort of stuff?
You're going to get the Allen key, but it's not a key.
Right. Everybody's got an
Allen
key. Everybody's got a drawer full of those IKEA Allen keys somewhere, I'm sure.
yeah, but it will take ages to install with a manual key. So you actually need the screwdriver.
Oh, you need that's the driver bit. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So roughly for someone who's who I guess, talking of IKEA, if someone can put together some IKEA furniture, they could be pretty confident of putting this together, I would presume.
Yeah, absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
Online, I'm in charge basically of the online installations.
Yeah.
So if any problem occurs, you don't understand something, I don't know, everything or whatever goes, you can actually contact us, and via video call or on WhatsApp or whatever, I can get in contact and let's see the problem. Okay, that part goes there, you flip that one, that's it.
Yeah, right.
But it's you can't really install it wrong. So it's like build proof to install it really good on the first time.
There's only one way it goes together by the sounds of it. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, having looked at all the features, I mean, you guys have put a lot of thought into this. Is there anything that you'd sort of like to, I mean, without giving away company secrets again, is there anything that you think of in the future that might sort of pop up that's a bit innovative and people might go, wow?
Yeah, we're trying to improve now on the electrical system. So we have small problems right now because we can't really find something that adapts to every booth.
Sure.
Because being a big one, we don't know where to put the switches will go, where the cable access, where everything the clients can choose wherever position they like. So it's complicated to. Okay, let's make the main panel next to the door. Yes, but the next to the door, it's not always going to be the cable access. So it's kind of different. So right now we have like a multiple plug, like
power board.
Yeah. And we just plug everything there. Now we are going to make our own power board with stuff like that, so we can actually change. And like in Australia, for example, we just recently sent booths there. They have already the dedicated adapters inside, so you can actually use those locally.
Oh, okay, right. So you've got the local ones. Yeah. That's one thing you don't think about, is it? You sort of all those different power adapters and all that sort of stuff. You don't think about that.
Yeah. So basically, there are going to be small changes in the future. So design-wise, inside to make it easier.
Yep.
But everything. It's already figured it out quite well. So.
Yeah. So I mean, there's plenty of in terms of booths for people for voice actors and all that sort of stuff. There's plenty of options out there. I guess. What sort of things should they be thinking about? I mean, let's be honest, voiceover guys and gals, lovely people, but not so big on the tech side of things. So if they were sort of searching around and sort of scratching their head thinking, how am I going to find myself a nice, quiet place to record in, what sort of things should they be looking for?
First of all, they have to figure out how much noise they want to isolate. Mm-hmm. So this is critical, because if you are already in quite environmental, like I said in the beginning, you probably just need some acoustic treatment. So you can buy different foams, absorbents, put on the wall, and that's it. But if you need to actually isolate, if you're doing voiceover in the Madrid Central, you're going to need a specialized booth.
Yeah.
So it's a normal booth, it will not go with this one.
Yeah.
And on the market right now, this is something that I want to, get outside, get this information out, because there are really, really bad actors in this game. They are stating they have sound isolation booths, which are kind of true, because if a cardboard, if you close it properly, it will sound isolate. But they're really tricky when they say how many decibels they reduce. They have reduction. I don't know, a lot of those. And my advice is to pay really close attention to how many decibels they have reduced at what frequency.
Yeah.
So they have to take into account decibel reduction by frequency. And if they don't want to do that, the weight, it's a really, really good approximation for the actual value of the booth. Yeah. So usually the heavier, the better. So how it goes in this industry.
So listening to you talk about that then, I mean, bass is, or the low ends is the hardest frequencies to get rid of. Is there figures? If we were looking at frequency response figures and you know how it's attenuating those sounds, should we be looking at the bottom end and going, well, if it's doing a really good job there, does that necessarily mean it's really doing a good job everywhere, or is that not so much the case?
Usually it correlates, because if it does a really good job on the lower ends, probably it has high enough mass weight to handle the high frequencies also. So this is actually good. But this is misleading, because it will always lead you to buy the most expensive booths available.
Yeah.
So, like for us, if you're telling, okay, you're going to look for the most isolating booth on the market. This is the DV booth, but it's a really expensive one, and you're just want to do voiceovers. The Echo is almost half the price, and it will do a pretty damn good job. Absolutely no problem.
So let's take. I mean, we can't be specific, but let's say I was living under a flight path. Okay, so not right at the airport, but say I was a few miles away from the airport, and the planes went over every 5 minutes. What sort of things should we be looking for in terms of like frequency responses and things like that to sort of make sure that we're not going to get that stuff? Or I guess what sort of figures would you be suggesting that they should be seeing?
Unfortunately, you're going to have leakage inside, regardless of the booth type you're going to choose. So a plane, it's quite loud, and it sends really high amount of noise. If it's close enough, it will send high enough of noise. That will be inside of absolutely any booth, unless you're going to build a bunker.
Yeah,
that's the absolute.
So let's say, so let's take a freeway or something. Then let's take something a bit less.
On a freeway, let's say the DV and Echo, we can still manage the situation. If you really want quiet inside, we're always going to recommend the DV, because there's no other choice. But if you, let's say, trying to record and you know how to play with the gain on the microphone and adjusting settings and everything, it's good enough. So the Echo, it's quite good enough. And like I said, you can actually hear me quite well. And take into account that we are in the factory building the booths right now. So there are machine working in the factory, CNC, cutting machine, drilling. So everything, it's kind of noisy outside. And you can't hear anything inside.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, I'd really like to sort of understand if I was looking for this type of a product, and it is, let's face it, whether we go for the big one or the small one, it's a fairly large investment. What sort of lifespan am I getting out of these things? I mean, is it sort of like if I say I was renting, right? So, and that's probably a big reason someone might consider something like this, because they don't want to invest in sort of doing everything they can to a room. If I had to pack it up every couple of years and move it again and take it down and put it up and take it down and put it up, am I going to get a reasonable sort of lifespan out of it?
We have more than 10 years of both moving them around, and they look like new.
Yeah.
So you can't destroy it. So I guess you can if you really want to. If you take a hammer and hammer it out, you're probably going to destroy it. But they're really, really good. I don't know, really durable, especially with the felt. So you can actually scratch the felt, cut it, then you can stretch it back, like scratch it a little bit, and you can dissimulate all the damages.
Yeah.
So it builds to last. It's really pretty built to last.
Okay.
You can't go wrong.
And so on the back of that, shipping to Australia, or I mean to anywhere really outside of Spain, is that a big deal, or is it reasonably easy?
We kind of figured this out already. So yeah, it's easy. For us, it's easy. It will be packed in a really big box. You're going to get rid of a really big box, but it's well protected. Yeah. It usually has the insurance on the transport. So even if we are responsible for the shipment until you receive the goods. Yeah. This is another important thing, because we can't control the shipping company. So we get the booth with one company here, but the company has subcontracts. So we can't control the shipment.
Yeah,
we did receive photos from our clients that the cage, the packages was totally destroyed. So they actually destroyed it, but the booth was intact inside. So
isn't that incredible? Wow, there you go. Yeah, big sweat off the brow. Well, mate, thank you very much for your time. It's been really interesting. It's one of those things that people sort of, we all sweat over. I mean, even me, I've been in the industry for 35 years, and I think I'm on my 4th or 5th home studio. But you still sweat about building a studio, and when can be something as easy as pulling panels out of a box and putting them together with an Allen key, you sort of got to scratch your head and think, surely there's some value in that. If people want to find out more, where do they go?
Demvox.com.
Demvox.com.
So, and Demvox.com. This is the easy way to get to us.
Or will I drop you in the poo, mate, and say, find Demvox's number and give him a call and ask for Danko? Does that sound right?
If it's internationally, probably, it's going to be me or Monica answering the phone calls. So that will be no problem.
Well, mate, congratulations again. And thank you so much for your time. It's been really interesting.
Oh, thank you.